Yeah, the new 2-arc that just got picked up on Wednesday. They played in the Heroes Hype. I believe they fell to Team Blaze. I know I cast those matches, but I have the worst memory. So
I'm pretty sure you're right.
They did. I'm pretty sure they fell to Team Blaze, but it was still in a blaze of glory, may I say. They fought pretty valiantly, and they had a really good set between the two of them. It went to Blackheart's Bay as the last game. It was pretty crazy. But we're going up against Temple Strudel. I mean, I find that pastries can be a religious faith, but they have built a whole temple to this stuff. So let's take a look at the draft and see what's going on. We got Jaina and Zeratul getting banned out.
Yeah, Jaina and Zeratul are out. First pick is going to be Leoric, going to 2-arc here on the left. And, I mean, like, the powerhouse picks right now is either going to be Leoric, Jaina, Johanna, and Uther. Well, because Zeratul is almost always banned out these days. I'm curious if he's actually going to retain that first ban potential next patch with his incoming changes.
I feel like Void Prison is still going to be really, 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 really strong, even if it's got 50% less range. People just have to be a little bit safer. And so it's just going to kind of weed out the bad Zeratuls from the good ones. So we'll see. I don't know. It's a lot of damage that's also being reduced, and the Wormhole nerf is pretty hard. But it's still going to be able to chunk some people. So I think Zeratul will still be up there.
So once more, NA shows its huge preference here for Kael'thas as a first pick potential. This is twice in a row. The first pick round of the second team has actually now taken this. But Temple Strudel, and actually I apparently spelled their name wrong. So I'm just going to fix that very quickly. Temple Strudel is actually going to take it with Johanna. So why will you not caps lock? Jeez.
No caps locks.
So Kael'thas Johanna, good front line, good assassin waiting in the wings there, but once again, Uther kind of breaks through. This is Cursed Hollow again, so we're very likely to see at least another specialist, be it Sylvanas, Zagara, Nazeebo. I don't know if you're going to see them here, but wow, 2-arc is also going to follow suit with a Malfurion.
We're going to be seeing Triple Warrior come out from 2-arc then. Maybe not. They see the Zagara. So the Malfurion picks are interesting.
This is probably going to be a Uther ban, though, coming out from 2-arc.
Yeah, definitely going to be a Uther ban coming out from 2-arc. And Temple Strudel, so there's actually even Triple Warrior compositions that rely around Kael'thas as well, so that's not to say that they're out of that as well. I'm curious to see who they ban here, because I feel like that's going to be a little bit telltale of what their next couple of picks are going to be. They will be the next set of picks after these bans, so that's going to be, they ban out something that 2-arc isn't going to get, and then they pick up two things that 2-arc is going to be denied as well. So those are going to be some really interesting picks. They need a support. If Uther's out the table, Karazim probably is going to be up next.
So what I've seen before is Malfurion Zagara as a push lane. Zagara, of course, is a little bit of a mana-hungry hero, especially earlier on. So Malfurion with that innervate will go well there. I'm curious, though, will 2-arc go for a double warrior and double specialist Zagara siege tank as a push and just go early push, put their warriors in the side lanes for soak, and then just try to outpush Temple Strudel? Or will they go for a little bit more of a team fight collapse? Now that Zagara is there with the Maw, Leoric can easily follow up with either an Entomb or that March of the Black King. Will it be battle or will it be push? That's my question.
I would probably imagine battle. If you have a Leoric, I mean, push is good, but battle I feel like is always better. Leoric is just so great in those team fights, and I feel like you really want to emphasize that strength. So Zagara being there, it could be even, I'm trying to think about who their next warrior is going to be. The thing here is that Temple Strudel has a chance to pick up a new Barak, and the fact that 2-arc...
Cocoon?
Yeah. The fact that 2-arc has that Malfurion, Cocoon is incredibly strong at really negating a lot of the self-healing, or a lot of the healing on the composition for 2-arc. You put that Cocoon down as soon as Tranquility gets popped, and that's a really, really huge deficit in the first couple of seconds of a team fight. Sonya getting picked up there by Temple Strudel.
Well, a lot of people, again, they look at Leoric and say, how can we counter that? Well, Sonya has really risen in prominence because of her self-sustain, especially with these ferocious healing builds that we've been seeing. We've been seeing them in the SCL, now into tournaments. I don't quite think we saw them in Vegas. I think it was a bit more damage-oriented. But there's the Anubarak that you're looking for as well, Kev. So the Triple Warrior is real for Strudel, which means that 2-arc, I think... at this point, if Strudel was reading for a battle build, and they did ban out an Abathur, if you recall, and now taking a Sonya and an Anubarak, I mean, with that, the Cocoon for the Malfurion, the collapse from Sonya and Johanna, all they have to do is add a monk to this or Rhaegar to this. That is a little bit of a dive comp. So 2-arc, I feel, with that Maw, they're going to need a little bit more disengaged. And if they wanted to go for that siege, I don't think they can do it anymore.
So they pick up a little bit more of that backline damage. Raynor coming in there as their pick. Well, I mean, so there's a couple of ways that they can go with this Rainer. They can go for the penetrating round at level 13, or I'm sorry, 16, where they get that stun. But they could also go for something like Giant Killer and Berserk. I've seen that happen in the Heroes hype as well, and that's going to really shred the health of that triple warrior frontline. Temple Strudel now has to pick up their healer. I am kind of curious. Rhaegar, maybe. Karazim fits, but that would be 4 melee heroes against a Zagara and a Rainer. That's almost asking to get completely shredded.
You know, I might be a little crazy, but I could see a Brightwing working here.
Brightwing could work here. They could go for like the phase shift build and just really stay on top of that.
Yeah, the shields, her passive healing and blink heal, especially with the opportunity to start things off with a polymorph. Like you get, all right, it's not going to be the Brightwing, but the theory here is that with such a huge dive comp, right, you can just chain CC someone down. Johanna with the Condemn, Sonya has the Spear, Nubarak has double stun on top of that. A polymorph, if you can't cocoon Malfurion, or you polymorph the Rainer, polymorph the Zagara, just take someone out. And it's not going to be that, as I said, but it will actually be the Karazim that we were looking for last round. So this, again, feels like a very heavy kind of dive. We need to kill you as soon as we can. As quick as we can kind of build here from Temple, because they have so much CC available to them.
It's so dangerous, though, because they have a Muradin on the enemy team, and with those giant reverberation slams, that's going to really slow down all those auto attacks. Karazim needs those auto attacks to get those procs of his trade-off. It's going to kind of hurt. So can they kill everybody before they're slowed down and just eviscerated from that front line? That's going to be the question for Temple Strudel, but 2-Arc, I feel like, has a really strong counter draft. It's whether or not they can implement it, especially because it's Cursed Hollow. So Temple Strudel, if they get some really good positioning, I feel like they could take this easily. But 2-Arc, they're a little bit more of a practice team. They've been around for quite a bit in a lot of different senses, a lot of different team names. Bare Necessities, Just Do It, a couple of other ones as well. They've kind of like been shifting around team members. But they're a little bit more practiced, especially because, LZ Gamer, he's been around since the alpha, since the beginning of the alpha.
Yeah, the beginning of the alpha, man. I mean, this guy has been here from the beginning. He's been on how many teams now? Multiple amateur teams, and now he's trying to make it big here with 2-Arc. And not to take away from Temple Strudel, Collusion, Insider, these are guys that we've seen throughout the amateur scene as well. Heroes Type, I believe, is where they got their start. I remember watching Collusion and his original team kind of just burst onto the scene. It was really actually phenomenal. But it's good to see these guys going head to head. It is only a best of 1, Kev. So triple warrior with this dive from Karazim. Is that enough to kind of overcome what I think is actually a really nice and safe setup here from 2-Arc? Muradin with those reverberations you talked about. We got penetrating round from Rainer. We got Moz from Zagara. We can even go in tombs, defensive in tombs if you really need to from Leoric.
Yeah, we saw some pretty awesome Entombs during the NA finals. I'm curious to see if we're going to be seeing anything more. Unfortunately, we don't have any Butchers to really showcase that. But let's get on into this game, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning over here on the left-hand side, it is 2-Arc. We've got Crone on the Zagara, LZ Gamer on the Rainer. We've got Insomnia hanging out on the Malfurion, Sunshine on that Muradin, and Trader rounding it out on Leoric.
So I really don't know why, but every time I zoom out, it just breaks my mouse. I don't know. I'm going to just have to restart after this, I guess. But on the flip side, Collusion, GS Lewis, Ire, Insane, and the now not present Dotad. It's just going to blow up that Muradin. 5-man comp was real, man.
And in the very beginning of the game, we already see Sunshine taking the first blood, or actually getting the first blood on himself. And that's going to be a nice little beginning to this game here for Temple Strudel. They are taking a really nice beginning. Let's see if they can continue this momentum.
All right.
I mean, momentum we already casted, but let's go with the momentum here too.
So there's the Malfurion Zagara push lane that we were talking about. Now, LZ up here as well. They put the other warriors in the other lanes for soak, so it's not quite the siege specialist lane that I was looking for with the Zagara with that Sergeant Hammer, but at the same time, the pushing potential is going to be pretty real here.
Yeah, and they're definitely really pressing that. We can see already those turrets are starting to lose a lot of their ammo, so this is going to be a good position for them to just really kind of start getting a little bit of an experience advantage if they can get a couple of those turrets down. And experience advantage leads to first tributes being a little bit more in their favor, and that can just work really well going on into second and third tributes. Now, right now, we're starting to see Ire transfer on up here to do a little bit more damage. LZ Gamer starting to do as much damage as he can to Dotad, and that's going to be a takedown, reversing the takedown from before. It's going to be 1-to-1 now in those kills.
Well, I mean, the kill was going to be definitely worth, but at the same time, there's now nobody here mid, and that's going to be probably, what, one merc? It's not even going to be a creep. Trader comes back all the way in time before anything dies. So, I mean, total worth, 100% right there.
Yeah, that's always a really good thing, is just making sure you're going to be moving around, but not without losing experience from those creeps. It's actually a really hard thing to time out exactly when your creeps are going to start dying and to just move on up and back. In this game, you use those mounts to really get that mobility around to just avoid losing that experience from creeps, but still doing it is a very, very small time window.
All right, good news. I fixed the mouse.
All right, mouse is fixed. LZ Gamer getting hit by gravity left, a lot of damage going down there, but Ire gets a penetrating round to the face, gets pushed back, and they actually don't get that kill. Tribute spawning up here in the top lane, where all the trouble's already been already.
All right, so we got some creep tubers out there as well. I mean, you're going to have no way to get in from red on the left-hand side. Crohn's is just, again, setting up more tumors there as well. Early detection systems going to be pretty good. Trader got delayed coming up to this, and wow, Sunshine is just left lane now. But, you know, I think there's enough ranged poke here from 2Ark just to kind of keep red on their toes here.
So this is the scary thing I was talking about during that draft. That monk has to get so incredibly in the face to really get a lot of that healing off, and every time he does that, he's getting a lot of damage coming in there from LZ Gamer. LZ Gamer is doing a lot of good of focus firing, but speaking of that, a huge entangling roots is going to be able to grab Dotad, and that's going to be the first blood of this fight. GS Lewis now trying to disengage, but he's not going to be able to, and we're just seeing the might of the Zagara, of the Rainer, just melt that front line.
Yeah, not only is it Roaches and Hydras, but the Inspire for these warriors as well. I mean, sure, we took down Leoric, but that's not the end of the world at all, because he's going to come back much quicker than Dotad on this monk. And that's actually now 0-2 for the monk, as Ire is still actually making sure that we can kind of play the poke and soak game. Nobody is in those other lanes, but, well, neither is Ire. He's not going to be in any lane.
Yeah, he's going to be up in the lane of heaven right now, as he did just get taken down. We're starting to see a giant back come in there from our friends here at Temple Strudel. They just have to go back and just give the tribute up, and that's going to go on over there to 2Ark for the first tribute.
All right, so Trader with his insane wave clear, once again, that is going to be something that is going away next patch, and definitely, in my opinion, something that really had to happen. Same with Collusion as well. I mean, like, these guys just have insane wave clear for Warriors, but the kills aside, Crone has, you know, won this top lane there with that Zagara, LZ, of course, with that Rainer as well. That tower down puts us to level 7, and you can see the builds fleshing out a bit. You know, we got the Reverberation, Thunderburn, the Piercing Bolt coming out. And from there, I mean, what? Seasoned Marksman, Focus Attack, Revolution Overdrive. You're going to see that giant killer we were talking about.
Oh, yeah. He just wants to go for as many of those auto attacks as possible and really just destroy that front line. As we keep saying, it's an you know, going for that triple warrior. That's a big front line. You have to just melt. Illusion going to have to back on up here in the bottom lane. There was a little bit of a collapse there from Sunshine and Trader. And they pick up their Siege Giants pushing this top lane, and that's going to be probably at about the same time they walk in past those gates that this Tribute's going to spawn up. So it's going to be a lot of pressure in the top lane, but we do have a mid lane Tribute coming in here, so it's not going to be terrible if they do want to sit there for a couple of seconds, clean up those Siege Giants, and go back.
Does Collusion have... Well, no, he has to go all the way home. This 2v1 bottom actually might not work out in favor of 2Ark. I don't think there's... Is there anything here to stop Dotad? Well, it's going to be those Roaches at the very end of it. Crone's going to take a heck of a hit for it, though.
And so we're starting to see everybody just trying to get into this fight. We have the Drain Hope going down there on Ire. Ire is actually a little bit low here, and we're starting to see 2Ark kind of edge into this position, and actually a better and better position. They make their way past the major choke point. That really is where a lot of teams try to catch their opponents. Sunshine now going for the Tribute spawn. They're actually going to be able to get a good amount of damage there on Crone. He will fall. LZ Gamer now trying to get out of here. Sunshine getting a living bomb to the face. And this looks like actually Temple Strudel is going to be able to get a good positioning on this fight. Insane now going to start channeling that Tribute. It's going to be 1-1.
Rainer immediately just transitions top, gets off another Inspire on top of these Siege Giants who have been doing work during this entire time. But yeah, 1-1 for the Tributes. It's not the end of the world, but bottom just got absolutely wrecked. Sunshine now going down for damage control. So overall, it's been pretty even going back and forth. Trader, you know, back into the mid here. The big thing was that Zagara got caught and just rushed down, and there's nothing you can do about that. LZ is actually going to be in a very similar situation. Caught, rushed down, body blocked, and now done. That is the danger of these immobile squishies. If you're too far forward to your left your own devices, Triple Warriors will punish you hard.
Not only that, I mean, not only the Triple Warrior, Insane got some really great gravity laps down, and that's what really kind of lagged up Raynor just enough so that he couldn't get through the gate. We're seeing here now just another Condemned coming in there. Are they going to go for Trader? No. But the level 10 for both these teams just on the cusp here as Tribute number 3 coming on up here. Now, keep in mind, both these teams have gotten 1 Tribute. There's not going to be a curse here. So this isn't a major fight. If they're not feeling comfortable, they don't have their heroics in the right positions, they might just back up and let the opponents take it. But both these teams are raring to go.
Cocoon, 7-sided strike, Wrath of the Berserker, all kind of expected at this point. There's the 1 Maw coming in. LZ's got to throw down that Hyperion, and there it is.
And here comes the March of the Black King, actually not really hitting too many things. Insane, very far forward, but does throw a gravity lapse to give himself a little bit of room. Now going to get hit by the Skeletal Swing and the Storm Bolt, and it looks like they're going to be able to try and do something here, but he does get the chance to back away. Ire is going to be able to get away as well, as the Entangling Roots does get freed up.
Collusion immediately went up top as soon as they noticed that that tribute was basically done. The Maw into the Collapse is time and again going to be what 2Ark is going to be trying to go for. It's just such an insane kind of collapsing tool. The Maw into March of the Black King, the Hyperion, Roots on top of that as well. I mean, there's a lot of Goomba Stomp potential right there. And catching 2 to 3 targets is, well, pretty much worth to throw down everything. You almost insta-win the fight right there.
Exactly, and you know, if you can get 2 to 3 people put together, you get a good amount of that AoE. Remember, keep in mind, we don't have that Muradin with a piercing bolt. You can, even if you get 3 people, you can still land a double piercing bolt down there and just stall them out for even a little bit longer as soon as those Entangling Roots free up. So getting as many of those people even together, even if you don't have a ton of AoE, is still really good because, even though Raynor's all auto attacks and Zagara's, Hydralisks are 90% of her damage. Throw it on his Bane Links and everything.
Insane.
Maybe get a good one.
Insane is just too far forward. He's not getting out of that one.
Oh, or is he?
No.
There comes, oh wow, the Dwarf Toss. That Dwarf Toss was dangerously close to being over that gate.
Yeah, but Sunshine made it happen right there. As I said, now this is a fantastic spot now for 2Ark. They're going to be a 4v5, and the positioning is that the Monk is way behind here. I mean, this could easily be a tribute, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be the tribute. There's no way that they can fight this 4v5 as well as, with all the heroics being up here for 2Ark as well. There's that Stormbolt going in there, doing a good amount of damage to GS Lewis. He's just got to back up, and Krone's going to be able to finish that channel. Curse going on over here to 2Ark. Let's see what they can do with it.
All right, so 3 forts to go. Bottom lane, again, is getting pushed in by these giants. Temple Strudel's been really on top of their Merc control into that bottom lane, so that will stem that lane, which means if they can clean up top, and they're going for it now, they're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, the Tranquility getting buffed there from Insomnia, keeping LZ Gamer alive for a long time, and GS Lewis just gets completely destroyed here. Ire and the rest of the fight force here from Temple Strudel are going to be able to eliminate LZ Gamer. As a reply, however, Dotad is trying to deal with Trader in the backline, just trying to get a couple more of those auto attacks in to get more heals in. But it's a 1-for-1 trade. Unfortunately, with the curse here, we're going to see a huge push, and Sunshine is just still in the bot lane. So that was actually just a 4v5.
It was a 4v5, and they still traded out 1-for-1. The Cocoon timing was actually rather magnificent coming out from the Anubarak. That was basically what enabled the Raynor kill to happen. So we're still going to get 1 fort out of it. We've got a bunch of the towers there mid as well, and Sunshine is, well, he's not going to get the fort, but he was able to actually take the well instead. So it's not the worst. They did actually take home a significant amount of experience, and with that 1-for-1 trade as well, they weren't soaking lanes, which means they weren't getting a little bit of that extra experience that Sunshine was. So that's why we're pulling ahead here from 2Ark, but the comps are really starting to come together. Do we have Giant Killer? It's gonna be Relentless Leader from LZ.
I don't even think I've even seen this too many times. Reduces duration of silence, slows, and
a lot of melee, man.
Yeah, a lot of melee. You want to make sure you have all those crowd controls going away from you. So it doesn't go for the Giant Killer, goes for that instead, and it doesn't even have to go for the double penetrating round at 13 and 16 either. We're seeing a lot of different builds come out there from Raynor. That's what I really like about this hero so far. We're seeing just so many different builds.
Now Red's getting really aggressive here. They're going to be going in for this Bruiser Steel. And Sunshine, he has it on lockdown, but there's 3 heroes now into the top. Trader might be able to march onto it, but he's going to go down very quickly past that.
Yeah, but he could be kept alive with Insomnia if he does pop that Tranquility. We're seeing a huge fight and a huge maul going down as well. It looks like the Bruisers are going to go on over here to the favor of 2Ark, and everybody comes out of the maul just to get a lot of damage to the face. The Hyperion going to be able to do a lot of damage there to Ire. Now Sunshine chasing down Ire as well. We see Karazim falling as well, and finally Collusion to be the last takedown here for 2Ark, and they're in great position to take this boss camp.
Well, they couldn't get it fast enough. I mean, it was a very aggressive play to try to take that camp. They overall, Strudel wasn't able to get it. They didn't even take home a kill on that one. There was, what, a 4-man maw after that?
There was a 3-man maw into just 4 takedowns, but it was perfect.
3-man maw. I mean, again, like we saw the Malfurion pop out the Tranquility. Immediately it gets hit by that cocoon, but at the same time, you know, 3 of your primary, frontliners or damage dealers out because of that maw. Again, this comp has been working out very good for the disengage kind of status that 2Ark was looking for. As soon as that triple warrior came in their last pickups, for the Mirrodin and for that Raynor, it's worked out very well for them.
And, keep in mind that while all of this is working out, 2Ark right now has also hit level 16 as well. We're seeing the Berserk come in here for the Raynor. Going to end up with a little bit more of that auto attack focus in the end. They go for, while they've got this level 16 advantage, the other boss in the top lane, going to convince him to join their side. And they move around the map. Blue team is absolutely everywhere, painting the town blue instead of red this time.
Now, Collusion, I think, is going to just get this one pretty much scot-free. Now, of course, he's not going to be in the top for this defense, but they actually do put the pressure up of a Curse next tribute. So if we successfully defend, we soak to 16, and we can get 1 pick or at least a favorable fight, we are going to be able to threaten a Curse here from Temple Strudel. So I think that was a very smart move on their behalf. They're going to take some extra siege damage because of it, but at the same time, this might work out still.
Yeah, they're trying to waste away that boss as quick as possible. They feel like the turrets will be able to clean up the rest of that while they can go and try and defend the mid lane. Because if they were not going to transfer over here quickly enough, is that a blessed shield that went down? Oh, no, it wasn't. Okay, it looked like it was for a couple seconds. I was like, that was a weird one for the bruisers. But if they didn't move down immediately, that would have been a forfeit keep. So that was a good call to just let those turrets kind of deal with the rest of that boss.
Nobody's actually stacking, I don't think. All right, well, 18 globes on Lewis there for his regen master.
Todd moves on into the middle of a party bush and does get caught up.
Leoric's sitting at 28. Jeez, there's a huge difference in those orbs between these teams. And yeah, that's Dotted there is not actually going to be doing his team any good. Running into that party bush, there's a great ambush there by 2Ark. But I mean, look at this. Ire way up top. This is not going to be a curse, so there's no point in contesting this. They're just trying to soak as much as they can. They got their 16 now, double imposing presence to try to deal with that Raynor.
And with the double imposing presence, hopefully that's going to really cut down a lot of his auto attacks. But that's only on 2 heroes. If he becomes wise enough to not go for those heroes, then we know exactly, like, he's going to go straight for... Yeah, Hyperion will. Oh, Hyperion triggers imposing presence.
Should.
That's interesting. I haven't tested that out. I'll have to try that out later.
I'm pretty sure because, the owner of the battle of Cruiser goes to LZ. I could be wrong. That would be actually like a nice Mythbusters. But you're right. I mean, as long as he doesn't attack them, he won't get hit by it. But I mean, he doesn't really have a huge auto attack build. Yes, he has the Berserk, but Relentless Leader, Revolution Overdrive, he's adding a lot of utility to his comp just outside of his auto attacks.
That's true. That's true indeed. So we'll see if that auto attack, imposing presence is going to completely eviscerate his damage or not, or if they're going to be able to get a lot of their damage mitigated, and we can see Temple Strudel turn this all around. At the same time, we're seeing some really, really aggressive play coming out here from 2Ark, just even though they're both on the same level 16 tier. We're seeing them pick up those Siege Giants, now push down this bottom lane keep wall, cleaning up those turrets in a couple of seconds. Another tribute coming up here, though.
I mean, Ire is up there, 9 seconds. If they don't notice that there's no Sonya here and she stays hidden, might be good for the team to actually engage right now. And Collusion's not letting Trader go yet.
Oh, Insomnia's coming up here. Can he get the tribute channel off? The Moonfire should just be barely in time. And our Sonya has to back up for a couple of seconds here. Looks like they're trying to go for Trader, do a little bit of damage. Our Dotad now coming on in here. Trying to be aggressive, but that's a little bit far forward. The March of the Black King coming on in here. 7-sided strike going on as well. LZ Gamer taking a good amount of hits. Has to be very careful about taking damage, doing damage to the Anubarak, because that has the imposing presence. But in the backline, we see Ire go down. Anubarak actually does get pushed away from Raynor regardless, even with the imposing presence.
Even with the imposing presence, the Hyperion can do, again, some really massive things. Stun into a Nubarak. He's going to be down again. You know, another Maw from Crone just kind of split the team. And you saw that Dotted had to make a big choice right there. He did avoid the March of the Black King with his 7-sided strike, which, you know, was to his favor. But Insane split one way. A Nubarak was a second way. Raynor himself was a third. I mean, there was no real good escape path there. And when the team split up like that, I mean, it puts a huge stress on the survivability and the healing factors.
So level 20 has been grabbed here by 2Ark. They're starting to pick up a couple of their talents. We're seeing the Hardened Shield going there on the Murid and the Bolt of the Storm on Zagara. That's Crone. We have LZ Gamer picking up the Nexus Frenzy to round out his Raynor build. Hardened Shield yet again coming in there from Trader. And then Storm Shield on Insomnia's Malfurion. And they really just want to have a little bit of that sustained using those double Hardened Shields and the Storm Shield, but as well as a little bit of damage and escapability to come in with that Bolt and the Nexus Frenzy.
They're waiting. Look at this. They are waiting for this tribute.
Smart play. Very smart play. They want to wait for this boss to do as much damage as possible as soon as the opponents get distracted by another tribute, because then it becomes a giant pincer maneuver. It's like, you go for the tribute, fine. You're not going to have to. You're not going to be able to deal with the boss. You deal with the boss, you're not going to have the tribute, and we're going to get a curse.
Yep. So they get tribute. They don't actually finish off these bruisers. I would have expected them to kind of rush both of them at the same time, but they didn't know where red was at that point, and so Temple Strudel, they were actually guarding against the steal. And now with this timing, I mean, that boss is going to bring so much damage.
Ooh, a Marsh of the Black King doing a lot of damage to the backline here of Temple Strudel. We see Kael'thas following in the backline, Zagara falling as well, so it's 1 for 1. Cocoon coming back on out here. Insomnia with the Tranquility, trying to keep everybody alive. LZ Gamer does pop a good amount of damage in and gets healed back up the full. Collusion now going to be the next one to fall, and we have Ire using the Ancient Spear to disengage, but he's not going to be able to flee if the Stormbolt hits, and it's good.
Thunderstrike, got it.
There we go.
So, I mean, Temple Strudel already, you know, facing a level deficit. GS Lewis up here is now going to try to take on Insomnia because they really want to get that tribute. But all he has to do is keep him busy, and this boss is basically going to march to the win here for 2Ark Gaming. And I don't really think there's too much that Lewis can do about it.
Yeah, I don't even think, even if GS Lewis came back to try and defend this boss with the 3-hero might of 2Ark, there's just no way that they can survive this. This is a best of 1, of course, so it's a round of 16. They're going to move on forward to the round of 8. 2Ark takes the game.
Good stuff from 2Ark right there, defeating the Triple Warrior. I mean, Raynor, again, it feels like he's a huge key to a lot of these comps, and the Kael'thas in the back just wasn't really able to deliver the kind of big targeted burst that they needed to. There's no Pyroblast, it was only the Phoenix, and he was really the only damage, I think, that we were afforded right there.
I feel like the biggest misplay there was picking up that Karazim. Time and time again, we saw Dotad trying to get in there, trying to get those little bit of auto attacks in so he can get that trait passive healing. But unfortunately, that was just costing him so much damage. He then had to go very, very far into the backline so that LZ Gamer could not just immediately snipe him out. And at that point, then you have your healer having to play super defensive instead of just somewhat defensive. And you're just not going to get the healing, the support in there from the monk, and that's just the biggest issue.
A little bit of a lack of damage, a little bit of a lack of healing from Karazim. He had, I think, the most deaths in the game. He had 2 down by first tribute, I believe. So he wasn't exactly the most favored pick. And now, you know, this is 2 games in a row. We've seen Malfurion set up into favorable double tank, triple tank. What happened to Uther? It's a marvelous question that these teams are not taking Uther that early on, because again, like, I think that we wouldn't have gone these kind of roles if we had seen an Uther that early. But 2 for 2 for Band, and he's out. And that's how you defeat that right there, guys. You get you have the zone control and the disengage, and the Triple Warriors a hard time really collapsing on it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting decision that we're seeing these Malfurions come in so incredibly early and then going on to these very, very heavy regrowth talents, and then going, or actually no, this time actually I take that back. That was last game we saw those heavy regrowth talents coming in from every single level, but this time he kind of went for a little bit more of a Moonburn into a Loon's Grace, a little bit more of a standard Malfurion build, and it worked out. And either way, Malfurion is just a really strong hero, especially when you have a lot of sustained damage coming in from your side. Tranquility gets you into the later stages of those fights where your sustained damage is really going to take hold of your enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, 2 for 2. These guys are going to be moving on here to the quarterfinals now for Go4Heroes 42. We're going to be taking some time here to figure out what the next set is going to be.